Trump tweets, stays out of sight for hours after shooting. Bridgewater, NJ. As the nation reeled from 2 mass shootings in less than a day, President Donald Trump spent the first hours after the tragedies out of sight at his New Jersey golf course, sending out tweets of support awkwardly mixed in with those promoting a celebrity fight and attacking his political foes. Americans did not lynch the president in the immediate aftermath of a shooting in El Paso, Texas, that killed at least 20 people and, hours later, one in Dayton, Ohio, that claimed at least 9 lives. Not until Trump and the First Lady prepared to fly back to Washington in the late afternoon Sunday did he appear before cameras. Hate has no place in our country, and we're going to take care of it, Trump declared before boarding Air Force One. While connecting hate and mental illness to the shooting, Trump made no direct mention of gun law, a factor brought up by Democratic officials and those seeking their party's nomination to challenge Trump's re-election next year. He also ignored questions about the anti-immigration language in a manifesto written by the El Paso shooter that mirrors some of his own. Trump tried to assure Americans he was dealing with the problem and defended his administration in light of criticism following the latest in a string of mass shootings. "We have done much more than most administrations," he said, without elaboration. "We have done actually a lot. But perhaps more has to be done." Never seemingly comfortable consoling a nation in grief, Trump will be carefully watched for his response to the attack, again inviting comparison to his predecessors who have tried to heal the country in moments of national trauma. Investigators focused on whether the El Paso attack was a hate crime after the emergence of a racist, anti-immigrant screed that was posted online shortly beforehand. Detectives sought to determine if it was written by the man who was arrested. In recent weeks, the president has issued racist tweets about 4 women of color who serve in Congress, and in rallies has spoken of an invasion at the southern border. His re-election strategy so far has placed racial animus at the forefront in an effort that his 8th day is designed to activate his base of conservative voters, an approach not seen by an American president in the modern era. Trump has also been widely criticized for offering a false equivalency when discussing racial violence, notably when he said there were good people on both sides after a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, that resulted in the death of an anti-racism demonstrator. The shootings will likely complicate that strategy, and Democrats who are campaigning to deny Trump a second term will quick to lay blame at the president's feet. "You reap what you sow, and he is sowing seeds of hate in this country. This harvest of hate violence we're seeing right now lies at his feet," Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey said on Meet the Press. "He is responsible." White House aides said the president has been receiving updates about both shootings. The FBI, local and state law enforcement are working together in El Paso and in Dayton, Ohio, Trump tweeted Sunday morning. "God bless the people of El Paso, Texas. God bless the people of Dayton, Ohio." His first tweet after the El Paso shooting on Saturday hit similar note, with Trump calling it terrible and promising the full support of the federal government. But just 14 minutes later, he tweeted again, a discordant post wishing UFC fighter Colby Covington, a Trump supporter, good luck in his fight that evening. That was soon followed up with a pair of retweets of African American supporters offering testimonials to Trump's policies helping black voters, though the president pulled very poorly with blacks. The motive for the Dayton shooting, which happened in a popular nightlife district, was not immediately known. But Democrats pointed to the El Paso attack and blamed Trump for his incendiary rhetoric about immigrants, that they say fosters an atmosphere of hate and violence. Federal officials said they were treating the El Paso attack as a domestic terrorism case. Trump's language about immigrants, and his hardline policies, loomed over the El Paso shooting. He has described groups of immigrants as infestations, declared in his campaign kickoff that many of those coming from Mexico were rapists, deemed a caravan of Hispanic migrants as invaders and wondered why the United States accepted so many immigrants from whole countries like Haiti, El Salvador and African nations. Critics also point to his campaign proposal to ban all Muslims from entering the United States. his suggestion that President Barack Obama was not born in the United States, and his administration's efforts to curtail asylum and separate immigrant children from their parents at the border. The president has also repeatedly been denounced for being slow to criticize acts of violence carried out by white nationalists, or being the mask of domestic terrorism, most notably when he declared there were good people on both sides of the 2017 deadly clash in Charlottesville. The number of hate groups has surged to record highs under Trump's presidency, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. He is encouraging this. He doesn't just tolerate it, he encourages it. Folks are responding to this. It doesn't just defend us, it encourages the kind of violence that we are seeing, including in my hometown of El Paso. Yesterday, former Red. Beto O'Rourke, a 2020 Democratic contender, said on Kim's State of the Union. He isn't open about racists and is encouraging more racism in this country. And this is incredibly dangerous for the United States of America right now. Other Democratic candidates also slammed Trump's lack of response. We must come together to reject this dangerous and growing culture of bigotry espoused by Trump and his allies, tweeted Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Instead of wasting money putting children in cages, we must seriously address the scourge of violence, bigotry and domestic terrorism. It is very clear that this kind of hate is being legitimized from on high. Buttigieg, the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, said in an interview on CNN. Trump orders flags to be lowered in remembrance of both shootings. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney defended the president's response, saying Trump was a combination of saddened by this and he's angry about it. Mulvaney told Axios this week that Trump's first call was to the Attorney General to find out what we could do to prevent this type of thing from happening. These are sick people, he said. And we need to figure out what we can do to make sure this doesn't happen again. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.